I filed for a motion of continuance for this case because I am totally interested in continue this case with the proper legal advice and legal aid that I am allowed by law to represent. And the reason I did not answer to this case in the proper time is that I was losing my job in that time and I couldn't pay for a lawyer. I kindly request my petition to be approved in this morning. Thank you.
Okay. So you said you filed a continuance?
Yes. And I have the copy and it is it's stamped by the court.
Okay, so to give you guys context, this woman married the guy, got him to buy a bunch of stuff, and was so abusive the police not only were called but removed her from their home. Then the courts gave him a 2+ year PPO against her. He moved back to her family, and then never paid a penny on any of the debt she made. And now that she can't use him anymore, she is trying to fight the divorce. This story happens way too often. It's sad.
First, some general questions, Mr. Minusco. What was the date, to the best of your knowledge, of your marriage?
July 14th, 2018.
Okay, and what was the date of your separation?
June 1st, 2022.
Okay, and at that time when you separated, did your wife leave the marital residence and go to another state?
She did. She was removed by the police from the residence.
Okay, and you actually have a protective order on your wife currently, don't you? An active one.
That's correct.
Okay. And when does that expire, to your knowledge?
November of this year.
Okay. Now, do you know where your wife went after that?
I'm aware now that she's in Texas.
Okay. And so you believe she's been living there since then, correct?
Correct.
Has the marriage become insupportable due to discord or a conflict of personalities that destroys the legitimate ends of the marriage relationship?
Yes.
Is there any reasonable expectation of reconciliation with your wife?
No.
Now, you don't have a final decree, but you had a prenuptial agreement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's her signature and your signature on the prenuptial agreement.
That's correct.
Okay, and did you guys alter that in any way when you submitted it to me? Okay. Your Honor, I would like to offer Petitioner's Exhibit P-001 into evidence, the prenuptial agreement signed in Hawaii.
I'm not sure what possessed this man to get a prenup, but it was a very wise decision on his part. This husband got very lucky that there have been no children born into the marriage. She wants half of everything and free health insurance because she helped do some yard work at the Airbnb.
What's your objection?
This prenup was made in scratch. It was signed by both. It has scratches. It was not legalized. And I don't think a document like that could be a valid prenup. It was not signed by a notary or a lawyer, and it is totally a scratch.
Okay, Mr. Starr, your response.
Well, it's an opposing party statement, Your Honor, and they're both of sound mind. And they agreed to this going into the marriage, and parties are able to contract among themselves. And this is a contract between two parties.
All right, you want to put it on the screen?
Okay. Here you are, Your Honor. It's on the screen.
All right.
I mean, it's made in the state of Hawaii. It's signed by both parties. If you look at the bottom here,
Okay.
contract between both parties. And then the statutes of Hawaii regarding prenuptial agreements say that these are enforceable and that they are enforceable even without any consideration as well. And it's also it should be in your box as well, Your Honor.
Okay. So Miss
And there's a witness.
Suka, okay. Who's Eileen Boland? Oh, is that the witness? Okay, that's the
Yes,
witness.
Your Honor.
Okay, so is that your signature there, Miss Fonseca? As you've signed there?
Objection.
Okay, you've already made your objection. We're just deciding now whether this is proper to enter into evidence. Is that your signature?
It is, but why is not showing the scratch part?
We're asking specifically, on above, there's property of the parties. This house, and you'll hear testimony from Mr. Minusco, is separate property that he owns with two of his other family members before the marriage. Is that correct, Mr. Minusco, as well as I described it?
That is correct.
When she couldn't pronounce the last name of the man she lived with for almost 4 years, his lawyer and I dropped our jaws at the same time. This is why you never bring someone into your country and sign a government contract saying you will support them forever. Too many people will pull this same stunt.
Now, did you file a proposed property division?
I did.
Okay, are you asking the court to make that an order of what you want in the proposed property division that you filed?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, and I'd like to offer that into evidence as a record of his testimony. It's labeled as P002, and it's in your box as well.
All right, you want to bring it up on the screen, please, so she can look at it?
Yes. Okay. So you filed this with the court, correct?
Your office did, correct.
Okay. Well, on your behalf, so you did.
Yes. Yes.
And then we see the Jeep Wrangler 2017 and the Highlander here, and you owe about $10,000. Is that your testimony on the Jeep Wrangler?
The debt balance is about 22,000.
Okay, so there's 22. Okay, I see it here. And then the market value is 11,000. What are you basing that off of?
This was based on a Kelly Blue Book value. Again, the condition of the vehicle is unknown.
Now, your wife has a Bank of Hawaii savings account, is that correct?
Basing this information on the previous information provided to the Hawaii courts.
Okay. So are you asking, when it petitioner's exhibit 002?
The fact that property owned before the marriage is even considered for distribution is mind-boggling on its own. With a prenup on top, it really only shows that with marriage, purely spoken as a legal construct, you can only lose as a man. She sounds like she's only in the country because of the marriage and never bothered to get citizenship. So shouldn't she be deported since the marriage is over?
Jordan, the day we separated, did you kick me out of the house? And there is a video of it. Yes or no?
The police removed you from the house that day.
No. He told me to left the house.
Objection. That's not a question.
Sustained. You can only at this time ask questions. You're going to have your chance to testify on direct examination in your case in chief, or if Mr. Starr calls you in his. So just at this time, the way that the law is that you can ask questions. Just keep asking questions, anything that you want the court to know.
Jordan, do I was paying the Jeep with Turo payments every month?
Payments were made for approximately the first year of the Jeep ownership, and then they ceased. And
Did you
that was
pay
from our mutual LLC that we both contributed to.
the LLC that you created was during the marriage? Yes or no?
Yes.
Does the debt on the Jeep, you paid it from the loan, from the LLC account? You paid it off the Jeep from the LLC money.
The Jeep is not paid off. Monthly payments were made from the LLC account that we created together.
Jeep, it's been paid off. as I remember you told me one day. You say that the Jeep has been paid off because you received the loan money, the equity money, so the
Objection, that's not a question. It's a narrative.
Turn your statements into questions. You may try again. That objection is sustained.
did you create the LLC during the marriage?
Correct, yes.
Does we pay for the Jeep during the marriage, both of us?
The payments that were made on the Jeep came from the majority of them came from the income from the LLC, not all of them. I made several payments and continued making payments after you ceased making them.
Does the LLC, how much money exactly did you receive from the LLC during our marriage?
Me personally, zero. I did not take any money from the LLC. Only used the money from the LLC to facilitate the payments that we made together.
The fact the cops removed her from the family home and approved a protection order says many things. Her green card can be revoked and ordered to return to her country of origin. I hope he provides this to immigration. He doesn't have to support her. I hope they remove her.
Why did you not took me in consideration or added my name on the LLC and you did not include me on that LLC?
Your name was included on the LLC. It was a two-member partnership.
It was during our marriage, yes or no?
Yes.
Did I help you out with the Airbnb at the house? With the Kalama Street house?
You did, and you were compensated for doing so.
How many rooms are you renting right now in Kalama Street?
One.
What happened with the other two?
I would object to the relevance of this because that house is separate property.
Overruled.
The house is there are several bedrooms in the house.
So your rental income is not what you declare on your statement. Your rental income, it is about $3,000 a month plus your salary. So you are not declaring that you rent 2 extra units in that statement.
That's incorrect. I'm renting 1 bedroom.
And for how much?
The police removed her from the house. She will never talk her way out of that one. He made her an employee of an LLC that rented rooms in his house, owned outside the LLC, giving her a generous income with health insurance. And from that paycheck, they paid bills.
It is currently unrented.
But how much are you asking for that unit, for the studio right now?
Up until last month, I was receiving $1,200 per month. Gross.
Yesterday, I have aware and I have proof that you are requesting $1,400 for the studio. It's not what you put in your statement. You are asking
Objection, lack of a
$1,400
question.
for the back
Sustained.
unit, plus you rent. Have you been fulfilling your obligations with the immigration law according to the form I-867?
Objection to the relevance.
Overruled.
Jordan, have you been disregarding your immigration contract as a sponsor of myself in this country?
Third question.
Have you been disregarding your commitment with the federal law, with immigration, by caring and providing to someone that you bring to this country, and you have not been fulfilling your obligations with the federal law?
I am fulfilling all of my obligations.
Not with the federal law.
Objection to the lack of question.
So when she left, she lost that income, and the income was inflated in salary and benefits that will not be paid in her next job. But there is another agreement that he signed, that he would not allow her to go on food stamps and/or welfare, the government form. This divorce made the judge go get expert help and delayed a decision. This is what happens when you order a mail-order bride so she can get her citizenship. Thank God they signed a prenup even though she says it's a scratch.
We both were maintaining the cost of the Jeep in one way or other way.
No, you had never personally contributed money to that account. However, I had on multiple occasions when you had either removed money from that account and it was not available to make the payments and pay for maintenance, or otherwise.
Did I replace and I purchase the tires for the Jeep? Yes or no?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
Did you recall Jordan kicking me out of the house?
Objection asked and answered.
Well, let her finish the question. Do you recall kicking me out of the house?
Several times, using control and manipulation towards me? Yes or no?
Objection to argumentative on using control and manipulation.
Overruled.
You were only removed from the house twice. That was the last 2 days that you were living here, and both times were by the police.
That's not my question. I asked, do you remember kicking me out of the house with your words, with your own verbal words, several times? Yes or no?
No, I recall asking you to leave multiple times because your behavior was unacceptable.
Do you think your behavior towards me was acceptable?
Absolutely.
So you think you could have more control while you were treating me bad with cruelty?
Objection argumentative.
Sustained.
What gave you the power to kick me out of the house several times, Jordan?
Again, I asked you to leave when your behavior was disturbing myself and others to the point that we couldn't live peaceful lives.
Why did you not leave instead of me?
Because that would not have solved the problem.
And why me leaving will be solve the problem?
Because any tenants that we had at the time deserved a peaceful space, free from yelling, slamming doors, throwing things, and being physically.
So you could also leave the house, yes or no?
No, I could not have left the house and been secure in providing a safe space for any tenants that were there.
So you care to provide safe space for your tenants and people around you, but not your wife, correct?
You were absolutely provided a safe space. You made the space unsafe for myself and others.
You think that the multiple times that you have kicked me out of the house is a power control?
Objection argumentative to multiple times kicking me out of the house.
Sustained.
So many men who want nothing more than a wife and kids, but how can we even still try when this is what we're constantly seeing? We're up to about 60% divorce, right? With about 80+% of divorces initiated by women. So yes, while your individual danger is not 50 to 60% if you choose carefully and not rush into things. One simply can't deny that we are the ones getting screwed. I feel so bad for this guy. I'm so glad he realized what she was doing and took action before she ended up pregnant. He dodged a huge bullet with this broad.
People, I helped with the yard, I helped painting the house, I helped improving the house for the rental income that he was making. So I would like to have granted some of that money from the LLC. Also, I am also willing to take some debt and also be part of the Kalama Street house. And also I would like to see, and I would like to have the total value of the Jeep in my name.
Okay. Court's going to take this matter under advisement. I'm going to ask Mr. Starr to draft a decree, a proposed decree, and send it to the court clerk in Word, editable, and copy Ms. Monisco on that communication. How long would it, we're off the record, how long would it take for you, Mr. Starr, to get that thrown together?
I can, if you give me a couple weeks, I could probably get it done. The issue is our firm closes on the last week of this month for a kind of a CLE. The whole office closes, so no paralegals or anything. Could you give me till the 7th of next month, and I can
Sure.
try and get it pushed through? Okay.
All right. All right, and just be sure to copy Ms. Fonseca so she can, make comments if she wants.
And Mr. Starr, you'll email that to me, Allie Latham. I was CC'd on the email from which you got the link.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'll do that.
All right.
Your Honor,
Yes.
would you just repeat me what will happen after this hearing? Just my English is not 100% accurate. So I
Well,
just need to make sure.
Based on the testimony and the documents, the prenuptial agreement, for one, I haven't completely looked at. Petitioner's Exhibit 2 was admitted, but I'm not sure there was testimony on all of it. So what I'm doing is basically buying, they call it taking it under advisement. Some people say taking it under avoidance, but actually I need to lay everything out and see what was pleaded and what testimony supported those pleadings, and what the prenup actually says, because I didn't see all of it. So that would go into my decision on a fair and equitable division of the marital estate. And based on the testimony, whether the house was separate and what's the deal with the LLC and the Jeep and all that. So I just basically, judges take things under advisement when they need more time to look at the documents.
In a nutshell, they married in mid-2018. She splits in mid-2022, 4 years later, and she believes she's entitled to everything the guy has acquired his entire life, like the house, his 401k, etc. He's been making all the payments on the vehicles and the insurance, and she somehow believes she should get everything. She probably stayed in the marriage just long enough to get her green card. Take notice of this chaos, gentlemen. You may be unfortunate enough to be next on this channel. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.